yeah, I haven't binged for the last 6 months almost, which is great.
So give me a quick rundown of what you were struggling with before we met.
I was struggling with a lot of things, with myself, with eating too much and binge eating, and issues with self-esteem and self-love and confidence.
Okay, so what about before we met? Tell me about what the binge eating was like. What were you eating? How was it making you feel? How long were you binging for?
Before we met, binge eating was part of my life for as long as I can remember, since a young age. I think it got worse with time and circumstances, but I was probably binge eating at least twice a week, 3 times a week maybe. A lot of it during the night. I felt like a lot of it was eating out of boredom, just eating and eating and eating nonstop, until I felt very uncomfortable with myself, like really not to the point where it made me sick per se, but at the edge of being sick, and really uncomfortable and feeling really like bloated and like, oh my gosh, like a very uncomfortable feeling, very strange feeling.
You were also a little out of touch with what was going on. You didn't really understand. Yeah. And now, you were binge eating like a few times a week. How long did you do this for?
I think for all my life I did it at some point. But like I said, I think it got worse after I moved out of my original country. And that's Brazil. So when I moved to the Netherlands, that was 12 years ago, I think that's when it kind of started, getting worse. And probably, it started like as once every 2 weeks, and then once a week, and then eventually it just became a habit even, I would say. It's kind of strange to say that, but binge eating became a habit, actually.
It's became a learned coping mechanism. Yeah. How do you think that the binge eating was affecting your life, or causing a domino effect into your life?
I think it was definitely affecting it because of the fact that it made me feel bad about myself. Then it just put me in that spiral, of feelings, of bad feelings, I guess, negative.
And so then we started working together, and then tell me about where you're at now. So what has changed from binge eating 3 times a week for 10 years? Now, what does your eating look like? Are you binge eating?
So I think, since we've started, I don't think I have binged, actually, or maybe if I did it, it was just once, but right in the beginning. But I don't know, somehow, working with you, it made me more aware of like, to think about more like what my body wants and what my body needs. So it was a lot of, I really like the tools, for example, the ones that really make you think and kind of challenge yourself, to really, and I don't know, maybe it's you have an effect maybe, but it's, I simply didn't have the urge, and I have all the things that would trigger, let's say, my binge eating at home. I have many cans of condensed milk, for example, for baking, for other purposes, of course, and they're still there, like I think, a few months ago, I would probably drink one a day, just because they're there or something, And
so
now
not only do you now not get the urge to binge, but when you have had the urge to binge, you know how to handle that effectively. Right. And so how do you feel now that you are no longer binging?
I feel great, to be honest. I feel, I feel like this is, it's big for me, it's something big.
Did you think you would get here?
Yeah, I never thought so, to be honest. I thought it would be a very difficult road, and, it had to have a lot of, willpower from my side. It was almost that kind of impossible mission in my head, before we started working together. But I think, the way it was approached by you and how we worked together, it made it natural, to just, I don't know, not have that feeling.
Yeah, we almost just gently herded you towards food freedom, and you're just like, this is cool, got it.
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so would you how would you, if somebody was worried about not being able to beat binge eating or that it would be so hard, what would you say to that?
I would say that it's possible, and that there are great ways to deal with it. That I would share my own experience, of what I've been through and what you shared with me. I would probably give your name, to them, because for me it's a life-changing thing, to be honest. Especially now that I'm starting this new chapter, I think it's very nice to have this, let's say, food freedom, and be able to say no to things and stop and just, be in control in a way.
So proud of you. So you've gone from binge eating, for 10 years of your life, and now it's been 6 months with no binging. Like, I'm so proud of you. And
Yeah.
how do you feel about maintaining this sense of food freedom and no longer binge eating? How do you feel about maintaining that?
I feel good, I think it's now it's kind of a natural thing, like I said, even though I have all these things that I could attack, I don't, and that's it, like in the past I would make it a goal to eat the whole thing just because, I don't know, like like a little goal. But now I eat what I want, and then I just put the rest aside, which is fine. A few months ago, I would be, pouring it down, and despite how I felt about it or anything, I would just make it a goal to eat the whole thing, or maybe two even, or something,
If you could sum up, how would you say that you feel confident that you're not going to binge again? Do you feel you have those tools?
Yes, I feel confident that I won't binge again because of all the tools that I have now. So yes, I feel very confident, and I think I can keep this up going forward, and I'll always remind myself of everything I learned and everything I've gone through before and then during this journey, and how good it makes me feel now, and I don't want this feeling to go away.